Hi, I'm Jess Ferreira. I was originally born in China. I was adopted at 4 months, and I came to Boston, Massachusetts, where I grew up. I was adopted by a white family, and we spoke English. So I don't speak Chinese at all, basically. I took a little bit of Chinese classes just so that my parents could acclimate me or like introduce me to my Chinese culture, but it never really turned out to anything. When I was in high school and middle school, I was required to take a class, like a foreign language class, and I chose Spanish. I really struggled with it. Like the vocabulary part came pretty easy to me, but the like grammar and stuff, I struggled with it. Struggled with it all the way up to like sophomore year. And then my teacher, Ms. Cho, finally told me to go abroad to Costa Rica. And I had like the best time. I got to talk like the little that I was learning in class, even though I was struggling, I got to like talk to real people and I got to interact with like the kids that we were on the trip with, like the people who lived in the village we were staying in. We did a homestay and it was really fun. We helped build a coffee shop that was there, and I still, keep in touch with those people via Facebook. I'm friends with some of the kids who were like closer to my age, the teenagers, and my host family, obviously. I'm friends with them on Facebook. So they keep in touch. And my host family had two young boys at the time, and now they're like 17 and 14. So they're all grown up. So I see pictures of them. So it's pretty cool that we stay in touch. I went again abroad to the Dominican Republic, and that was again a life-changing experience for me because I was able to speak Spanish in the real world. And it was the first time where in high school, you don't really take what you're learning in the classroom and apply it to real world. Like you're learning algebra, you're learning calculus, you're learning English, like you're reading The Great Gatsby and To Kill a Mockingbird, but you're not taking that and like using it to the real world. So like Spanish really helped me apply what I was learning in the classroom and apply it to the real world. And those two study abroad trips that I took in high school really helped me grow as a person, but also like it made me fall in love with Spanish. And I'm really thankful that my teacher, Ms. Cho, encouraged me to go on those trips. As I went into college, I continued with Spanish. I was terrified because it was full immersion classes. That's what my advisor said. That was not true, though. They did speak English. I started at 101, breezed through 101, 102, to 101, 102. I actually took accelerated classes, so it was 205 and 206. So it was 101 and 102, and then 201 and 202 combined. I took 251. I hated the professor. Totally demotivized me. Total disappointment class. You can read about it in my Linguistic Autobiography, but she definitely did not have any experience in teaching, like none. She just knew Spanish. She spoke Spanish and needed a job. So, junior year, I was a bilingual education major in Spanish, being bilingual at the University of Arizona. Spanish being the second language. We also got certified with ESL. So we got our certificate for that for elementary school. So I took a lot of classes regarding ESL and bilingual classes, obviously, but I also had to take a lot of Spanish classes. With that, I went abroad to Guanajuato, which you'll read about also in my Linguistic Autobiography. I loved it. I stayed with a host family. I've been going back there for 3 summers now. I plan on continuing that if I continue in the teacher path where I get summers off. So yeah, I really love it. I stay with the same family every year. I go to the same coffee shops, the same OXXOs, which is like our Circle K's. I really love it there. I made a lot of friends. I teach at a nonprofit there. I have to come up with my lesson plans due to the fact it's a nonprofit. They don't have like a curriculum or something they use at the camp out there called Resplendor International. So I have to come up with everything and the games and stuff. But yeah, it's really fun. I do a lot of work for them. I've worked my way up to like translator, like, leader, teacher, whatever they need me to do by, this summer. My parents have come out. My boyfriend has come out. Like, it's kind of, Guanajuato is like my city for the summer. That's like where I live. I spend like, 2 to 6 weeks there. So, I have like every summer I meet a taxi driver and he's my taxi driver for the summer. Like I really acclimated myself into the city and and they think that I'm Spanish. Like they know I speak Spanish and they're so surprised. Going into like what we've been talking about in class, kind of like the assumptions that we were talking about. Let me go down into my notes here. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull them up. One thing that I did notice is that compared to Mexican Spanish and Dominican Republic Spanish, they speak differently. Like they have different dialects. So I know we talked about that a little in class. In Dominican Republic, they say que lo que for like what's up, and in Mexico they say que onda. So I got to learn a little of the slang. Obviously we say what's up and not like how are you every time. But that's something that like interests me. In terms of like the assumptions, I don't know, like I'm bilingual. I learned at a teenage age. I can speak Spanish perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with it. I'm pretty much fluent. I guess, I don't know. I don't have parents that speak Spanish, so like, or Chinese or whatever language. They're monolingual, so that didn't really help benefit me. So, but I turned out okay, I guess. My brothers, they're TESOL teachers, and my brother and sister-in-law, they're TESOL teachers, and they don't speak a second language, which, there's conflict with that, but they don't speak a second language. And then, I guess my third assumption that I wrote about would be you have to be fully bilingual. And I know that, I think it was Shin talked about multi-bilingualism, and there's no definition of bilingualism, or, people normally say bilingual, you're bilingual, but you could be trilingual, you're multilingual most of the time, a lot of people are. And what is that? What defines you as being multilingual? And I guess, so, and like children, early exposure to a second language, like again, I said, going back to the assumption of age, there's no really age that I think you need to start your children learning a second language. Personally, for me, I would like to start when my children are young, so they speak it more. They have the opportunity to speak a second language for their entire life, hopefully until they're an adult and they pass it down to the next generation. But my boyfriend right now doesn't speak my second language, Spanish, so it'd be pretty hard. But anyways, thanks for listening.